concentration of a solution is usually given in the format mole solute per volume in decimeter cubed of solution. But we often want to know not how many moles we have in a certain solution, but how many grams of the solute we have in that solution. Now we know the ratio of moles to grams for any particular substance by using the periodic table. And so we can use that knowledge to figure out what the mass of solute is in any particular amount of solution of known concentration. Let's do that. What's the mass of sodium hydroxide in 500 centimeter cubed of a 1 mole per decimeter cubed solution? Now, just by the way, just looking at it, you can see that if you have a mole per decimeter cube solution and you have 500 centimeter cubed of that, that's half a decimeter cubed, half a liter. So in every liter, you would have a mole of the solute. Now in half a liter, you're going to have half a mole of the solute. And so it's going to have a mass of half of whatever you get from the periodic table. But let's do it the long way around and calculate it nicely and neatly. Our question is, how many grams of sodium hydroxide have you got in 500 centimeter cubed? Let's immediately write half a decimeter cubed, 0.5 decimeter cubed there. You do know that 500 centimeter cubed, when you convert it to decimeter cubed, you divide by 1,000, you jump the comma 3 spaces back, and so the answer is 0.5 decimeter cubed. Right, so our question is, how many grams sodium hydroxide have you got in 0.5 decimeter cubed of is multiply in maths, of a solution of concentration 1 mole sodium hydroxide for every decimeter cubed. So decimeter cubes cancel. So this can tell us how many moles of sodium hydroxide is. And you can see it's half a mole. That's what I was saying just now. But the point is now that we need to find out, well, what is the mass of half a mole of sodium hydroxide? Knowing that 1 mole of sodium hydroxide has a mass of 40 grams. How do I get that? Well, we go to the periodic table and we see that a mole of sodium atoms has a mass of 23 grams, a mole of oxygen of 16, a mole of hydrogen atoms of 1, and so all of them together bonded in sodium hydroxide have a mass of 40 grams for every mole of sodium hydroxide. Do this calculation and you find the answer to be 20 grams sodium hydroxide, which makes sense if you think back to what I said at the beginning, that we've realized we've got half a mole of sodium hydroxide inside this half a liter of solution, and we know that 40 grams is the mass of 1 mole, and so 20 grams must be the mass of half a mole of sodium hydroxide. What's the mass of sodium hydroxide in 25 centimeters cubed of a half a mole per decimeter cubed solution? Our question is, how many grams sodium hydroxide in equals 25 centimeter cubed of a 0.5 mole sodium hydroxide per decimeter cubed solution. You could just convert that 25 centimeter cubed into decimeter cubed. I hope that you can see that that's quite easy to do. You just divide by 1,000, you jump the comma 3 spaces back, which makes it 0.025 decimeter cubed. Be careful, not 0.25. But let me do it the long way just to show that too. So we can multiply that by a unit factor which converts centimeter cubed into decimeter cubed. Decimeter cubed at the top so that centimeter cubed cancels away and we introduce the unit that we want. And we know that 1 decimeter cubed is the same thing as 1,000 centimeters cubed. Right, so then we have converted centimeter cubed into decimeter cubed, and in that way we can also cancel away the whole unit of volume, which is good because we're trying to find out the mass. We don't want anything about volume. But we still have the problem that we have the amount of sodium hydroxide now in the unit moles, not in the unit of grams, as is required. So we need to convert the number of moles of sodium hydroxide that this gives us into grams. What's the equivalent mass of that many moles of sodium hydroxide? So we need another unit factor with mole sodium hydroxide at the bottom and gram sodium hydroxide at the top, where both top and bottom refer to a mole of sodium hydroxide. 1 mole of sodium hydroxide has a mass of 40 grams. And so we do our whole calculation and our answer is 0.5 grams of sodium hydroxide.